There's a word I've never heard a financial educator use, and in my humble opinion, understanding this one word will set you on a trajectory to success in everything you do. By the end of this video, you'll not only know the word, you will have taken the first steps toward feeling good about yourself and your relationship with money. I'm Papa Charlie. School's in session. In December of 2011, I was flying as a 747 first officer for Southern Air and had a couple of other income streams on the side. My income was satisfactory, but not life-changing by any measure. I had big dreams and felt frustrated that I couldn't seem to get over the hump. One afternoon, I sat down to read my Bible and came across Malachi 3:10. I had always been taught, "Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God." But in Malachi, God says something I had never noticed before. Malachi 3:10 reads, "Bring the full tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house, and thereby put me to the test." God was inviting me, no, commanding me to test him on a financial matter. So I prayed what I felt was a bold prayer. Lord, I will commit to tithing 10% of my increase, and I will trust that you will keep your word, that you will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive it. I want to be clear about something. I didn't tithe to get rich. I tithed because God challenged me to test him. And as I saw it, I had nothing to lose and everything to gain. What happened next can only be described as God keeping his word. Within 6 months, I upgraded to captain on the 747, and my income that year was literally double what it was in 2011, with what seemed like no additional effort on my part. But here's what struck me even more than the money. God didn't just give me income, he gave me status and influence too. The same gifts he gave King Solomon, wisdom that produces wealth rather than wealth that produces the appearance of wisdom. That was the moment I stopped being a consumer of resources and became a steward of God's resources. Did you catch that? I became a steward. That's the word. And that single identity shift changed everything about my financial life. Now here's where things get interesting. Most people hear a story like that and think one of two things. Either they think it's a coincidence, or they think it only works for certain people. I want to address both those thoughts directly. It's not a coincidence, and it works for anyone who understands the principle behind it. So here's the principle. The financial system you've been operating in for the last 2 or 3 decades was built on a completely different foundation than the one God designed. The world system measures your value by 3 numbers: your income, your credit score, and your net worth. They even call it your worth. Those 3 numbers have been the scoreboard you've been watching your entire career. And Doc Charlie spent this week helping you understand why watching that scoreboard has been producing the anxiety you've been carrying on your back. Here's what the world's scoreboard actually measures: how much production you add to someone else's financial system. You're seen as someone else's asset that produces income for them, whether they show up or not. Let's break it down. Your income tells lenders how much debt you can service. Your net worth tells investors how much capital you can deploy for their benefit. Your credit score tells banks how reliably you'll keep paying them interest. None of those numbers measure your freedom. None of them measure your purpose. And none of them address the most important financial question of all. What kind of legacy are you building for your loved ones? That can only be found on the steward's scoreboard. So what's the most important number on the steward's scoreboard? It's the measure of how much income your assets produce on a regular basis, with or without you. When that number exceeds what it costs to maintain your lifestyle, you're financially free. And financial freedom gives you the ability to focus your attention on the things that are most important to you. That's the freedom formula. So what does stewardship actually look like? Many people confuse stewardship with generosity. They think a steward is someone who gives a lot. And while generosity is absolutely a part of stewardship, it's not the definition. A steward is an individual entrusted with the management, protection, or supervision of something that belongs to someone else. In our case, the owner is God Himself. God entrusts His unlimited resources to us with the command that we are to be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. That's a completely different identity than the world system installed in you. The world installed the identity of a consumer. A consumer asks, how much stuff can I accumulate? How much can I keep for myself? And how does that compare to others? A steward asks a completely different set of questions. How can I multiply what's been entrusted to me? How can I deploy what I've been given most effectively? What systems can I build that keep producing after I'm gone? Those two sets of questions produce completely different financial outcomes over time. When you stop trying to hustle and grind for your slice of the proverbial pie, the weight of accumulation lifts. You're no longer competing with your colleagues for a bigger score on the wrong scoreboard. Your focus moves from having to being. You ask yourself, am I being faithful with what I've been given? And that question flows over to your relationships. You were never intended to go it alone. Genesis 2:18 says, "It is not good for man to be alone." God gave Adam a partner before He gave him a mission. That sequencing matters. The mission requires partnership. Your spouse is not a dependent in your financial story. She's your co-steward. She manages resources you may never even fully see. She carries financial wisdom you haven't even asked for yet. She's been feeling the anxiety of the wrong scoreboard alongside you, whether she's verbalized it or not. Scripture suggests that if one could chase 1,000, two could put 10,000 to flight. That means that a partnership multiplies effectiveness. Stewardship is a covenant mission, not a solo assignment. Now let's talk about the practice of stewardship in daily life. Stewardship without a system is just good intention. And good intentions don't build legacies. God didn't just give us an identity. He gave us an operating system. It's right there in Genesis 1:28. And most people have read it hundreds of times without seeing what it actually contains. Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, have dominion. 3 waypoints: be, do, have. The world reversed that sequence. It told you to accumulate enough to look successful, then do what successful people do, and eventually you'll become the person you were trying to be all along. That sequence produces the imposter syndrome Doc Charlie diagnosed this week. God's sequence starts with identity. No one can consistently do something that's contrary to their core being. That's why you must first become a steward. Once that mindset transformation takes place, doing the work of a steward becomes natural. Then, when you consistently do what stewards do, you can't help but have the steward's results. Here's what each waypoint means in practice. Be fruitful means becoming productive. Use the skills and abilities God entrusted to you to produce value for others. Initially, that's your career, your expertise, the thing you've spent decades mastering. That productivity generates income to use as seed capital. It's the starting point of everything that follows. But being fruitful alone doesn't make you free. Productivity without multiplication just produces a bigger paycheck that, if not earmarked for a specific purpose, is consumed by lifestyle. That's where the do waypoints come in. Doing consists of 3 complementary actions. To multiply means to redirect a portion of your income before lifestyle gets first claim on it. Before any bill is paid, before any discretionary spending happens, a predetermined portion of every dollar you earn moves toward your asset column first, automatically, every pay period, without requiring a decision in the moment. Fill the earth means to deploy your redirected funds into multiple streams of income-producing assets, things like real estate, business, dividend-producing stocks, every one producing with or without you. To subdue means to build an automated system to protect and grow your asset column without requiring your constant attention. The goal is a financial system that produces as faithfully as you've produced throughout your career, even while you sleep, even after you've stopped working. And the final waypoint, have, is not what the world would have you believe. It's not accumulation. It's not a comfortable retirement. And it's not the finish line. Proverbs 13:22 says, "A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children." That's a 2-generation mandate. Have is legacy. It's the point where your asset column produces enough to sustain your lifestyle and begin building something your children's children can inherit so they don't have to start from scratch. That's your mission, and that's what the Stewardship Advantage is designed to help you begin building this week. Now that you know the rules of the game you should be playing, it's time to start putting up points. Remember the world scoreboard? Income, credit score, net worth? These are the measures that tell you how valuable you are to building someone else's financial system. The steward scoreboard only needs one number on it. Here's the scoring formula. When income from your assets exceeds your monthly lifestyle expense, you are financially free. That's the winning score. For most people watching this video, right now that number is 0. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're just getting started. The only thing you have to figure out right now is how much time you want to take to build that asset income. I've put together a couple of free tools to help you see clearly where you stand and how far you have to go. The first is Papa Charlie's personal financial statement. It's the tool that shows you exactly where you stand on the steward scoreboard right now. And the second is the Stewardship Advantage Guide. It walks you through 3 specific steps to begin moving your asset income number in the right direction starting this week. Step 1 is the Stewardship Mindset Shift. From consumer to steward, from accumulation to multiplication. Step 2 is redirecting the flow. Finding the money that's already leaking out of your household every month and redirecting it toward your asset column before lifestyle consumes it. Step 3 is tending the money garden, acquiring income-producing assets, protecting them, giving them time to produce, and building something your children's children can inherit. 3 steps, practical action items for each one, specific enough to implement this week. That's the Stewardship Advantage, and it's my free gift to you. Let me bring this full circle before we close. This week, Doc Charlie sat with you in some uncomfortable territory. He named the deception, the system that was never designed for your freedom, the rule book written by people who profit when you follow it. He identified the source, the schools that prepare you to be productive for someone else, the employer who replaced your pension with a 401k, the advisor who collects fees whether you win or lose. He diagnosed the ailment, imposter syndrome, the pain that high achievers feel when they measure their worth against the world's standard and find themselves coming up short. And yesterday, he wrote you a prescription. Stop measuring yourself by what you own or what you earn. The world measures your worth by those things because the world doesn't love you. Today, I want to add one more layer to that prescription. The world's system of finance is based on distraction, distortion, and deception. It was created to be a master over the masses. We all serve a master. Joshua 24:15 says, "Choose this day whom you shall serve." I don't know about you, but as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Whatever your decision, make it today. Your spouse is waiting, your children are waiting, and your financial future is waiting. If you're still with me, you've probably made the decision to take control of your money through stewardship. The next step is to download Papa Charlie's financial statement worksheet and the Stewardship Advantage Guide. Download them now. They're free. The link is in the description. I'm Papa Charlie. Class dismissed.